Wow. Please join me in a responsive reading adapted from our gray hymnal on our 8 UU principles. I will read aloud the words at the top of the screen, and then we'll all read together the words below in italics. So our first principle, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We believe that each and every person is important. 2, we affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion for human relations. We believe that all people should be treated fairly. We affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. We believe that our churches are places where all people are accepted and we're in keeping together. We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We believe that each person must be free to search for what is true and right in life. We affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process. We believe that all people should have a voice and a vote about the things which concern them. We affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We believe that we should work for a peaceful, fair, and free world. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. We believe that we should care for our planet Earth. And 8, we affirm and promote building a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. We believe that we should dismantle racism and all systems that do not affirm the full inherent worth of every person.
I read those 7, now 8 principles 20 years ago, and I still believe them in my heart. But I also know that I am a hypocrite, that I contain multitudes, and that even as I read them, I feel convicted, my consciousness pricked. There is some guilt that I am not at all times living up to the best of those ideals. But that is why they're there. They are certainly there for us to live into, to be them, but they're also aspirational. They're both, it's a both and. Last week I spoke to you about moving from this age of agriculture, aggression, toward a new age of collaboration and connection, what I call and what has been called the age of technology and information and artificial intelligence. We can't figure it out, the computers might. In fact, I said that we must move from destructive creation to constructive creation by choosing safe and healthy connections, egalitarian cooperation, compassionate engagement, and bold collaborations. And to elaborate, this means we choose to be with people and places that affirm our worth, where we can allow for, as I said last week, entrainment, with that synchrony of purpose, the kind of harmony that is cooperative and supportive. We choose people and places where there is care and empathy, places that are bold and compassionate in serving others. But also there has to be tenderness and forgiveness, because we all share each other's highs and lows, and we all fall short of our best stuff because no person or place is perfect. Today, I want to continue trying to weave together our united purpose as people, as Unitarian Universalists. It's not just that we do good deeds to make the world a better place. That's important, but I'm really talking about little t and big T transformation of individuals and human systems by creating and showing by our flawed example how to create sustainable environments. So we are change agents. We are imaginative selves. That's what Adrienne Marie Brown uses those terms, imaginative selves in the body of humanity. And we must be willing to be adaptable to new ways of being. This new way of being human is not easy because it's learning about how to be in community, how to be in right relationship, how to create good quality relationships, how to hold each other accountable in those relationships. It's how we claim our agency, our power, without doing harm or causing trauma to another being. Showing by example that there is a better way to live than these archaic wars and the violence of the gods of agriculture. A few years ago, as I mentioned, Adrienne Marie Brown, we featured her book, Reverend Anastasia and I, in her book's Emergent Strategy. She gave us some clues to building and shaping a beloved community. She said that we have to build at the speed of trust, and that is the only way you can build something. There has to be trust. She said that we have to pay attention to what we pay attention to grows. So be careful what you pay attention to. Pay attention to what builds health. Healthy cells seek health. I've heard it said once, feed health and starve dysfunction. She also said that we must build our resiliency. That is, we sometimes need to take a break from people, places, things, but we get back up again. We try again. Build your resiliency. In racism, we talk about white fragility and white people becoming more resilient in racial relations, racial conversations, building the racial stamina, resiliency to have hard conversations. It doesn't mean it won't be hard. It doesn't mean you won't walk away, but it's coming back to the table again. That's how we build community. And Brown said we must decentralize authority, meaning all the power does not lay here. All the answers, all the work is not here with your leaders, that we are all leaders, that if we are going to build true community, it has to be egalitarian. So we are equals, all of us. We're all spiritual leaders. We're all justice makers. And guess what she said? If we all take on this mantle, then no one burns out. When you think about the old movements and the civil rights movements and all the pressures on those leaders, it's no wonder they succumb to many of their foibles. Too much pressure for one person to hold. You see it all the time. So we're all in this together. Be the change you wish to see. Do your part to help carry the burden. Lastly, Brown says that we have to build sustainable organisms that are adaptive and cooperative. And she liked to use fractal patterns, that they're easily, they're more turnkey. They can be duplicated much easily, like a fractal pattern that you see in the Fibonacci sequence. That if we model predators, lions and tigers and bears, we will do a lot of eating things up. And it breaks community. And you will probably go extinct. But if you watch nature, you must align with nature, stronger organisms, ants, flocks of birds, the magnificent way trees communicate and support each other. Let nature be your teacher in building your systems. basic stuff, but revolutionary thinking that is not patriarchal, and it is shared leadership. So what I've named so far, many of the keys to building a successful individual or corporate relationship: connection, collaboration, cooperation, compassion, in no particular order, trust, resiliency, shared leadership, and adaptive systems that are sustainable. Now, this all sounds good, but we must consider having more discussion on how hard it is to build sustainable relationship, especially with people or groups not aligned with our values or our outlook. We talk about the worth and dignity of all, but many seem unworthy of our love due to their undignified words, behavior, or actions. Let's be honest. And we need to talk about that more this church year. I won't do that this morning. I'm excited about what we're going to learn together this year. We have several themes we're going to engage to further extrapolate these ideals that I've named and the difficulties. The ministers, we're hoping that each month, every group in the church that can will consider having some conversation on the theme topics. We'll be curating the materials ourselves for your groups. Those materials are forthcoming. I've been getting emails. It's coming. We hope these conversations will occur in your homes, among your friends, with your children, if you have children. Why? Because this ensures we're all growing together in our shared understanding of how to build sustainable community. Our themes this year will look at the language and meaning of our 8 principles, October through December. There's a history there. There's a story there that we want to talk about. We also plan to talk about trust. And we will talk about broken trust and repairing trust and what that looks and feels like. Because we all break our vows. Though you've broken your vow 1,000 times, come, whoever you are. We break our vows. So we will look at the meaning of reconciliation in February. We're only as strong as each person's commitment, as mentioned with shared leadership. So we'll look at meaningful contribution in March. In April, we will discuss authenticity. What is authentically you? What is your ego? When is it you talking or is it your ego talking? When do you need to step up and step back to allow others to be their authentic selves? Lots to discover together this year. It's exciting. Exciting because I believe we are in the beginning of a rebirth. And I don't believe in coincidences. You know, we've had this ongoing long construction. A big thing happened this week, though. They did some pouring. There's the I don't know how to describe it, but this big retaining wall is up now. So things are speeding along, but we're in rebirth. And when it's done, it's going to be gorgeous and attractive, meaning to attract. People like new shiny things. And if you haven't been here a while and you come, you'll look around and you'll say, I don't know a lot of these people here, because a lot of new people are here. I mean, Laura's done a magnificent job. We just had almost 12 people join the church. You know, I want this to be the place to be on Sundays, because we are rare in Anne Arundel County of what we offer from a religious context. So I've been reading and praying and studying, how can we build more meaningful community in the 21st century, this new model of what religion or church can be. That's the mission for us. Learning to grow our souls together, becoming better community builders, relationship masters, better teachers and students. That is the next phase of our church's growth. which will require humility and generosity and your attendance on Sunday and during the week and your continued commitment. Building relationships is not easy, but UUCA has continually over the years done the hard stuff. You do what is necessary, not always well, but we know it's at stake. The future of humanity. Building a fractal pattern that can be repeated in humanity. You know, like that 4-mile race, nobody could run the race 4 miles, you know, the 4-minute mile, they couldn't do it. And finally somebody did, and it's nothing now. The kids in high school can do it. It's a fractal pattern, right? You show that you can build a diverse, multicultural community in 1 place or 2 places or 10 places. It's a fractal pattern. That's what's at stake. Building real, genuine Unitarian Universalism. And guess what? We have been put on spotlight again. The book, Mistakes and Miracles, Congregations on the Road to Multiculturalism, is the annual common read with the Unitarian Universalist Association, and it kind of frightens me. We are the largest chapter in that book, chapter 3. It wrote about where we were in 2015, 2016, our struggles, our failures. It's not necessarily a fun chapter to read, but it will give you context to what we're building here. So the spotlight is on us. People will read and say, I wonder what that church is up to now. One of our members, Andrew Bain, said in the chapter, we are failing. No, he said, I'm not sure if he meant failing, but he said, we are falling forward. We are falling forward. So hundreds are going to be reading that book. I was rereading a really good book while I was on sabbatical. It's called Community, The Structure of Belonging by Peter Block. He continues to inspire me with the hope that we can build a multiracial, multi-generational, diverse, beloved community. And he gives some secrets, which are not really unfamiliar. He says that good communities have high social capital. Social capital has to do with the quality of the relationships. So we need high quality relationships with each other. Block shows in his book that communities with high social capital have high trust. But he used the word cohesion. I called it entrainment. And in these communities, these neighborhoods, they tend to be safer. People have closer bonds. There's less crime, better volunteerism, all kinds of positives. And it's obvious when you think about it. Has nothing to do with race or geography or wealth. It's about human connection, breaking out of silos and competition and narcissistic individualism toward openness, collaboration, and interconnectedness, letting go of the I and embracing the we. He said this, community offers the promise of belonging and calls for us to acknowledge our interdependence. To belong is to act as an investor, an owner, and creator of this place. To be welcome even if we are strangers, as if we came to the right place and are affirmed for that choice. To feel a sense of belonging is important because it will lead us from conversations about safety and comfort to other conversations such as our relatedness and willingness to provide hospitality and generosity. Hospitality is the welcoming of strangers, and generosity is an offer with no expectation of return. These are 2 elements that we want to nurture as we work to create, strengthen, and restore our communities. This will not occur in a culture dominated by isolation and its correlate, fear. So we need your gifts here at UUCA. Here's my sales pitch. Especially today, and Laura will come up in a moment to talk about what's happening after church. We want you to connect. I would love if every person here today and on Zoom found just one thing, one group to join this year. Just one or two. No, just one. Small group, choir, ensemble, maybe play an instrument. Our White Allies group. We have men's groups, women's groups, earth-based groups, a lot of choices. If you're a person of color, BIPOC person, we have a BIPOC group. You are the community. We are the community. And I don't want anyone to feel disconnected. We have all been collectively traumatized. Now, if you think you haven't, you're not being honest with yourself. We've all been traumatized. This was the grand reset. And let's face it, we needed it as humans. That's the positive out of the negative. And hate is so rampant right now. We need not isolate ourselves, think we're by ours. You're not by yourself. You have a community with you here today. We need this safe and bold space as a bulwark against the dirty, dingy forces that want to divide us. So the question is, how will you find more collaboration this new church year? May love and peace and joy and comfort be with you this morning. Amen.